Hey everyone, CTN Technology News here, and today I'm looking at iTunes Radio, one of the coolest features in Apple's new iOS 7 mobile operating system. Now it's shaping up to be quite a big deal. Not only will iTunes Radio pose the biggest threat to internet radio king Pandora to date, but Apple will now get an opportunity to recast a decade-old debate about the respective roles of man versus algorithm when it rolls out this new piece of streaming music software. Apple has built a service in its own image that to a large degree leans on tastemakers as well as algorithms. In a still young digital music industry, everyone from Spotify to Google is trying to figure out the best way to help fans discover new music. Yet so far, most people are discovering music the old-fashioned way via FM radio. So here comes Apple, which very much wants to be your DJ, albeit with a heavy dose of your iTunes behavioral data mixed in. Now because this is Apple, the potential stage is global, even though iTunes Radio is rolling out initially in the US only. For the music labels, the hope is not just that Apple lures people from Pandora, but that iTunes Radio pulls millions of people from the FM dial over to streaming radio, a more lucrative place for the labels. We're hoping Apple shakes up the entire radio market, said one digital music executive. Now that's also Apple's goal. In the run-up to this week's rollout, for instance, Apple has asked all the major music labels for their heat seeker lists, according to people familiar with the processes. These are the lists that the labels keep of artists and songs they're betting on are on the verge of breaking, even though the data might not yet point to success. Now the human approach to digital music is very Apple. After all, the iTunes Store, which despite attempts by Amazon and Google, remains by far the largest digital marketplace, but it does rely on people to select which artists get featured and can make a new album or track. And so the people at iTunes Radio, which is an extension of the iTunes Store, will work closely with the labels to figure out whom to feature when. At least this is the expectation of the labels, which already work this way with iTunes Store. And just look at Spotify, the fastest growing on-demand music service recently did. It has always relied on algorithms, apps and social to help its users discover new music. But then last month, Spotify added another way to discover music with a feature called Browse, where you can find playlists created by a team of editors or writers. All the concern over discovery is a valid one for the music industry. A recent study found that 80% of people turn to radio to find new music, and another study from 2011 found that the iTunes user never listens to 81% of their music library, suggesting that people like what they know, but there's also an opportunity to push new tracks to people on the digital radio, the way it happens with FM radio. Now let me know what your opinions on iTunes Radio are in the comments below, and just so you know, I will probably be talking about this more when iOS 7 officially debuts tomorrow. But until then, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.